irony. It's an expression of meaning that uses language that normally signifies the opposite. So for example, if I were to walk out into a hurricane and just start saying, wow, what a peaceful day. Aren't those arms just so nice? Those are such nice arms. It'd be pretty ironic. Irony is usually amusing and funny, and what I would like to share with you has to do with irony. It's actually about a tree. So I decided to climb this tree and branch out a little bit. You can see those leaves and those branches. I decided that it might be beneficial to climb this tree in order to express to you what I've been learning. At the very end of the New Testament, the last chapter of Revelation, John sees this vision, and an angel shows him this tree of life, and the tree of life is next to a river of life, and this river of life is flowing from the throne of God, the very presence of God. So this tree of life is blooming fruit. It always has fruit growing in every season. It's never dying, and the leaves never fall. So these leaves, it's in fall right now. If you can see, these leaves they're gonna fall here pretty soon. But the tree of life, actually, John says, the leaves of the tree of life are the healing of the nations. Are there any other trees of life in the Bible that you can think of? Yeah, at the beginning of the Bible, in Genesis 2, there's a tree of life in the Garden of Eden, and as soon as that tree is disrespected, all of humanity is cursed. So we have the Genesis 2 tree and the Revelation 22 tree, and they're like bookends. And right in between these two covers of this story in this book is another tree. And that tree is a tree that Jesus climbed. It's actually a dead tree, and Jesus himself was crucified on it. It doesn't seem like a tree of life, but John, not only John, but Peter and Paul and Luke all take the same term for the tree that Jesus died on, and John uses it to describe the tree of life in Revelation 22. But that doesn't make sense. That dead tree is like firewood that you would throw in a fireplace, or it's like lumber that someone would be crucified on. It's dead. It would be impossible for any fruit to grow off of it, for any leaves to grow from it. But John is saying that this dead tree next to this river of life from the presence of God is producing leaves for the healing of the nations. How ironic. Yet, it's exactly what John's audience needed to hear. The Christians at the time were being persecuted, and they were suffering severe persecution for their beliefs. So they were in need of this irony. They're in need of this hope. And what John's saying is, hey, Christians, take heart, have hope, for Christ is the healing of the nations. Do you feel like that at all? Do you ever feel discouraged? Are you confused about who's in control? Are you abused for your beliefs in Christ? Are you wondering when in this world Jesus is coming back? Because, Lord, I'm so tired. I've been working so hard, and I just need you to come back. Well, John is saying the same. He's talking to you. He's talking to the audience that says, I am in need of comfort. Where is hope right now? And he says, hope can be found. Take heart, hope is found in Christ, who is the healer of the nations. As Americans, we tend to want some sort of Tylenol for our sufferings, like an instant relief for what we're experiencing. And John is saying, hey you, I actually have Tylenol that can bring relief. I have comfort for you, but it transcends what you think comfort means. It's hope that's greater. And you might want it right now, but wait a second, because the hope I'm talking about is a future hope. It's hope for the healing of the nations, all of them. And the audience would have heard this, and the Christians would have thought, oh wow, so you're talking about a hope that isn't just for Israel. You're talking about hope for Judea and Samaria and the ends of the earth. And today we can say, you're talking about hope for Americans? You're talking about hope for Africans and Indians? Yes! John's saying this future hope is far greater than anything you can imagine. Could it be that the sufferings we're facing or the doubt we're having could be overcome because God uses dead things to bring life that is healing for all nations? Do you feel dead? Do you feel hopeless? Well, take heart, church, because Christ is the healing of all nations, and he takes dead things and brings them to life. How ironic.